Let me just follow the herd because that is where they're investing, so will I. Let me just buy it because my friend is buying it. Let me just get into this market platform because I don't know, I'll just take advice of some investors. All these negative signs and everything that you believe you know about stock market is not always right. Sometimes everyone needs their own research and understanding, and I will tell you these warning signs that you have to understand if it's a bad investment in this video. To know what these warning signs are, don't forget to continue watching this video and subscribe and download our Freedom app to know about stock market in detail. I'm Varsha and welcome to the Freedom English channel. We all have negative remarks when it comes to stock market. That is because we don't have enough knowledge about it. Just because we don't know something doesn't mean that it's bad. We have to first understand and then get to know and then decide if that is good for us or bad for us. When we're already talking about these bad investments, let me tell you how you can understand that you are getting into a bad investment by telling you a couple of signs that you have to know, and this might come handy some point of the time. Starting with, an advisor told you to do so, or an advisor told you to buy it. Who is an advisor? An advisor is a person who comes and gives us an advice on a specific thing and tells us why this or that particular option is good. The main point that we have to understand here is that whatever the advisor tells us is only for our knowledge. It's not that whatever he or she tells us, we have to put that into implementation. So let me tell you this, guys, you have your own brains and I'm very sure you all can think. And making that wise choice is in your hands. Also, just because some investment counselor came and told you about so and so stocks doesn't mean that it's a bad idea. It can also be a good idea because not all fruits are bad. Only one fruit that is rotten can change all the other fruits too. So understand which is the rotten fruit and which is not. Take the wise advices and keep everything aside. When a random investor comes and tells you invest in so and so and you'll have a great return, that's where you're going wrong. Understand who that investor is first. You never know that if he or she investor is from that particular company, or he or she just wants you to invest because they are going to get some benefits, or whatever it might be. You have to have your own research when it comes to that. They might come and convince you in such a way that you might actually believe them. But you also have to believe in yourself. Before trying to do something wrong, first thing you have to remember is try to do something useful because that is what is going to get you a good return. Some people just work for commission and they are just going to get good returns when they convince their clients to buy so and so shares. But it's up to you if you want to help them get commission and ruin your financial status, or you will use your own brains, understand what is good for you and then build your financial side. So this is one of the mistakes and bad signs you're doing if you believe in wrong people unless you have trust in them. Next is, you don't understand what you're investing in. It's always told that unless you don't have the particular knowledge depending on the sector you're investing in, then why are you even investing? We're all confused at some point of life when we have to decide what we have to achieve. But doesn't mean that we just have to stand in one point and think that we are capable of nothing and just stand still. This is not how the life works. What is our actual main goal and purpose? It's the same when it comes to stock market. You have to first understand, study and then go ahead for investing. If you don't know why and what is the main purpose of investing and what is the main thing you have to invest in, you will never progress in this market. When it comes to this particular sector, I would say observation is a great thing you can do. You don't even have to listen to wrong people. You don't even have to decide whether you're listening to the right people or wrong, because not everyone has advisors who can come and help them. But you have to observe for yourself before going and making a wrong choice. This is what most of the investors do. They never understand why they're investing and what is the main purpose of investing and what to invest in. So understand all the three purposes. How are you going to invest? Why are you investing? And what is your purpose of investing? Once you understand these three questions, you're going to have the answer for the rest. Next one is that you actually don't know the person you're investing in. Get this idea, guys. You just don't want to give random people your money. I'm very sure that you want to save your money for yourself. But investing on wrong people is like just randomly giving people money, which doesn't even concern you. So this is one thing that you have to understand. Understand that why you're investing in so and so person's share and what is the benefit for you. It's always a give and take. When you understand the logic of give and take, That is where you understand why are you investing in this person's share. To take great examples, we can understand by telling that there are so many startups that we know and we have seen who actually make right investments and they pivot their entire business because they know and they have a thorough research on who they are investing, and those are the winners. They know that they're betting on the winning horse and they know why they're investing. So this is one of the things that we can learn from these startup owners because they have thoroughly educated themselves over the time. Why I'm telling understand the person that you're investing on is because it's not about the business or it's not about the ideas he or she gets, but it's about the good entrepreneur. By just understanding the way he runs the business, you can actually invest. When you know that this person has so much idea that I am sure that I can invest on him or her, then you have the right answer for yourself. That is why I say that make people believe and trust that they can invest on you. Make people understand that investing on you is not a wrong choice. As it's always said, not every day is a Sunday. Even there are times that the greatest of greatest lose. But it's still an experience that you can actually trust and know this person because they would have gone through so much, they would have lost and won in their life that they know this is right and this is wrong. And trusting these masterminds or geniuses is one of the greatest things you can do. By just randomly believing that this person is a great investment is not the thing that you can do. You have to believe that he or she can actually get you a good income. Next sign is that everyone else is buying, why not me? This is one of the common mistakes that most of them end up doing. We have all seen such kind of people, at least one in our life. As we all say that just because everyone else is buying, we also don't have to buy. This is one of the common things, like our mums say us, just because everyone are jumping off the building, you don't have to. Exactly. Just because people are choosing whatever is good for them doesn't mean that you have to also invest in the right thing. If you're investing on basis of this, then that can actually show the sign of trouble. Well, let me tell you why. Because some people choose the shares, number of shares, and each share differ from one another. They have different pricing levels and each of them actually make sure that they buy shares preferred by their choice. If you're investing just by listening to the company's name without knowing what he or she is investing in, then that might be actually a loss to you, and that time you might wonder, why did the other person get too much returns while I didn't? This is one of the major mistakes that most of the investors do, and they might actually choose these options. So greatest warning if you're investing like this is that do not do it. Do not just trust random people unless you have a thorough education about all this. That was one of the panic investments most of them did. And we all know the end of the story. The bubble popped and so many things crashed down the lane. Just because people are into it doesn't mean that we also have to invest. Sometimes our emotions also play the game here. If your emotions are playing with you, that means that again, it's a bad sign. Next one is the risk-free and guarantee return opportunities. Let me tell you this, everything is not risk-free. Everything you do has some risk. And what is the thrill in life when you don't have risk? Risk is something which comes side by side when it comes to investment. And people say that you have guaranteed returns or there is no risk, and that is all some type of bluff. People just randomly happen to come to you and tell that because they want their investment to be happening and going and they want people to buy. You just cannot randomly believe people just because the herd is going on one side and people have a great buzz for this because it's risk-free and people just say it's guaranteed. You can't believe them. You have to have your thorough research and you have to make sure why you're trusting them. If there's something that we have learned in life is that there's nothing guaranteed about anything, especially when it comes to investments. We just have to understand this concept first. If people say otherwise there is another option, let me tell you this guys, they actually don't know what they're talking about. You always have guarantee and risks side by side. There's no fun to the game if there are no elements of risk. So understand the main concept of the entire thing before investing, because people might just fool you because it's your money. They have nothing to do with it. You're the one who's at loss. Next one is you have to buy it now. Being pushed into buying an investment before you miss out is a big red flag. If somebody comes and just tells you this, don't listen to them because you have to know what you're missing out on. Many people miss out on greater opportunities, but that doesn't mean that you have to just keep running behind it. Make sure that even if it's late, patience is the key to success. So make sure you have that patience to analyze and understand that's okay to miss out on opportunities rather than losing your money. A good investment based on fundamentals is likely to be a good investment, but it can take weeks, months, or sometimes even years. If somebody is actually encouraging you to hand over your money immediately, then I tell you it's a scam. Or at least it's a sign of hot investment which is likely to be a bubble. Always stick to long term and your fundamental choices because you never know what you might be investing into. Make sure you have a wise choice. Next one is that thinking even less educated people are talking about investment and investing in it. This is the biggest red flag that I can think of. Just because there are people who are not that well educated but still investing and making money doesn't mean that if you're educated, you have to do it. Let me tell you this, guys. Everyone has their own talent. And you have to understand that just because that you're educated and you've gone to a great school or college, that you must know everything about investment. People have their own mindset and people have their own brains, and you have to understand that if he or she is doing so, why can't you and why should you? So make sure you're in the race by understanding and educating yourself, but not thinking that if they can do it, even you can. They might be understanding in their level and you have your level of understanding. So think about that as well. We have to slowly take things in process, understand what they are investing in, and probably we can go ahead to them and talk to them about it rather than just jumping into conclusions. This is one of the things that we all have to understand by not making the mistake of randomly listening to someone else just because we are way more educated than them or less educated than them. For example, these have often surrender periods during which you actually face charges of up to 5 to 9% on selling. Although these can have merits in certain situations, you always have to make sure that you have alternatives that can get you a better access to your fund. Next one is that the investment sounds too good to be true. Well, the sentence says everything and it's self-explanatory. But still, I'm going to tell you my side. There are always trained salespeople who know how to convince and want to give you something that you always want to hear. So these people are good at what they do. If an investment sounds too good to be true, that can actually make you feel like it's going to change your entire life, then that might actually not be such a great sign. Not every time everything is right for you, but you have to know which one to pick. Some people actually convince you in such a way, but you have to understand if something is right for you or not. Are the great warning signs for possible investment scams that you can get. These are something that you have to understand for yourself and think before you invest. Next one is need to borrow money. You need to have money to invest. Yes, that's the ultimate goal and that's the ultimate logic. But doesn't mean that just because somebody promises you to get you a great returns, doesn't mean that you just have to have a debt or you have to go ahead borrowing money from wrong people or asking people for money and then investing. This might again be a big red flag. You have to understand that you can only invest if you have money. That is one of the good things because it will not put you in so much risk as it puts others who are borrowing money and then getting into investment. So understand this basic logic of never borrow money if you're investing until and unless he or she can trust you and give you that money, or you can trust the other person who's giving you money. Don't get involved in wrong scams. Playing with debt in the early investment stages might actually have a long effect on your financial scale. So make sure you think twice before doing this. In the investment world, there is no such thing as always good returns. Sometimes even the good ones can turn sour. Sometimes you might even get bad news and things which are outside your control. So you always have to maintain and understand the barriers of risk. So make sure that you have the signs and warnings towards you. Understand what is right for you and what is wrong for you. By putting out these points, I think that I've given you enough information that can actually help you and save you when it comes to warnings and things you're not supposed to do for a bad investment. So if you like this video, do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Also, download our Freedom app. Thank you so much.